wow. As my cousin said, losing people, but that's a big one. It would be losing people. Physically, emotionally, losing people. Because all we got is each other, so we lose that, then what do we got? Nothing. So that's one of the things you got to do in life is to enjoy the time that you have, the good times, so the bad times don't seem so bad, because you got the good times to look back at. But losing people would be, which is part of life, so just be my mom. That's what it would be.
I think the thing that hurts me the most is when I know that someone that I care about no longer wants to associate with me. I think that would hurt me the most. I have a sibling that I grew up with who doesn't really, at first they didn't want to talk to our family anymore, and that really hurt. But I think she's moved past that now, but we were really close growing up. Then there were decisions and things that were made, things that were said, and now she lives in a different state, and I no longer have that close relationship I had. I think that hurts me the most, is losing a relationship with someone that I really care about. I just wish she would come home and feel like I wish she could come home and not feel like she has to be away from us, because we all still love her, and even though we're very different now, we have differences, we don't agree on a lot of things, I still would want her to be with us despite that. I wouldn't let it stop me from loving her.
If somebody tells me that they're very disappointed in me and that that I won't be successful and that I'll never be anything, and it just makes such a big impact in me, because I want everybody to be proud of me, because I think my dad said that he was like really disappointed in me, and that he could never be more disappointed in me than he was, and that hurt a lot.
Recently, people not valuing my friendship really disappoints me, and feeling like I have to really put myself out there to maintain friendships is really disappointing. I have a birthday coming up, so I invited a bunch of people to a party, and it's annoying to have to, try to drag people out of their house to celebrate. That's frustrating. I just moved back to town, so trying to rekindle old friendships, and I'm about to leave town too. So I'm trying to spark friendships with the people in the place that I'm moving to. It's disappointing to have to put myself out there constantly, where I feel like every time I see you, we have to start from page one because I haven't seen you in months, and I have to drag the friendship out of you. I don't know. I hope that my people are out there, but I do think it's probably the people. But hey, I don't want to say that all of my friends or all of my significant people in my life are flaky, because that's not true. But there are a handful of people that I'm disappointed with right now.
Honestly, what hurts me the most is seeing the people that I love around me hurting. My mom was just diagnosed with breast cancer, and it hurts me so much to see the people that I love in pain. I kind of just want to be able to take that away from them, but that probably hurts me the most. She's doing pretty well. She's doing radiation right now, but like I said, my mom is so strong, so we're gonna come out of it. Her being my role model, it's the hardest thing to see somebody that you love in pain and weak, but she's doing well. She's good.
I think when people don't come from a place of love, because really that's truth, to me, and that's when things can flow and when there can be harmony and unity. I think sometimes I see the potential of what things could be, and it just hurts. It hurts to see how much damage that causes. Yeah, I think it happens all the time, right? It happens when someone chooses to not consider their actions and how it's harming the earth or other people. It happens when they're harming themselves, or when they're choosing to not, be present and choosing fear, instead of choosing to be vulnerable, as scary as it is, to actually be more honest, because I think sometimes we try to control the outcome of life by trying to make the pain go away. But there is suffering, it's a part of it. But unless you are willing to open up to the possibility of suffering, you don't really open up to all that life has to offer.
Knowing that there are things that I can't fix and living creatures I can't help. Back when I used to do animal charity, I volunteered to do what was called transfer, where you would drive to a county facility and you would get a bunch of cats or dogs out of it and take them to a no-kill shelter or a volunteer. You can't stop it, and you know it's going on. And you know for every cat that you've gotten out of some abusive situation, there's some cat you haven't gotten, and there's nothing you can do about it. I would show up at an animal control, and I'd have a Honda CRV, and I'd have like 8 cat carriers, and I would take like 16 cats and kittens to safety, and I would rescue their lives. It meant a lot to me. But to have people then tell me, oh, you should see what was done to this one. It was the owner, and I got to the point where I'd be like, shut the fuck up. I don't ever want to hear details again, because I'll have nightmares about it. It will drive me insane. So one time I picked up these like 6 little gray kittens, and they were absolutely adorable, but they were super malnourished, and I made the mistake of asking what happened. They were like, someone put them in a box and put them next to the trash can to be taken out with the trash. And like the fact that someone would do that, and I don't have an aluminum bat to hit them with, and I know that sounds, but it's like the amount of anger and sadness and anguish I feel at that can only be equalized by causing pain to the person who would do something like that. So that's what kills me, is there's things going on in the world that I want to fix and I'm simply incapable of doing. Which brings us back as a sober person, because I was telling you before how I quit a lot of things. I quit alcohol and drugs like 35 years ago. But the sobriety prayer of like, grant me the strength to change the things I can, the courage to accept, the courage to change the things I can, the strength to accept the things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference, is just like, there are always going to be things in life that you can't control that you want to control. And you just don't let them turn into invasive thoughts. You have to get past that. And I've worked very hard at getting past that. So that's powerlessness to make a difference. Part of this chapter is also, I'm not a religious guy, but I've read up on Buddhism. A bodhisattva is someone who studies Buddhism to the point where they reach enlightenment. And rather than moving on to the next world, they stick around to help others and to help any sentient being. I really like the idea of that. So I kind of see myself that way, especially where cats and dogs are concerned. So to know there are creatures suffering that I can't help just eats away at me. But there's only so much I can do.
I guess thinking about the past in a way, like thinking about time I can't get back, things I can't change kind of thing. Especially growing up, I had never dealt with any major deaths. So my niece about 3 years ago was the first major death I'd ever dealt with. And then a year later, my girlfriend died. So that's really hard to deal with, accepting that they're never coming back and that they had so much potential and seeing all the good. And especially when me knowing personally how it feels to live as an addict, there's a lot of stigma, there's a lot of discrimination, there's a lot of, people don't see the good in those people, they just see the stereotype. And, I saw all the good in them too. And I knew them before they were an addict as well. So I knew who they were. They were more than just an addict. They're more than just a statistic. Now they're just another number on the chart of overdoses. I remember them for who they were, and a lot of people don't. Well, my girlfriend, Summer McQuillan, was the most beautiful person I ever knew, inside and out. Even in her addiction, she was the most kindest, giving, open-minded person, funny, just great in every way, and bless her heart, because she would get us robbed all the time, everything else, because she always saw the good in people, and she always, almost naive, where she just, she never wanted to see the bad in anybody, even if they were very blatantly bad. The same with my niece. My niece was so talented. Her name was Kaylee Hopkins, and she was so talented. I have so many drawings where she could just draw anything, and she was so funny and goofy, and she was kind and really smart before she got into drugs really young, unfortunately. She was about 16 when she started doing meth. She died when she was 21. Made all A's, played sports. Someone you really would have never expected. Because, me, I kind of struggled with grades. I partied a lot in high school, but it was, for her, it almost seemed just out of the blue, where she went from playing sports, she didn't fit the stereotypes, I guess is what you would look at. She didn't fit in any kind of stereotypes. She was super goofy, funny, loved animals. I let her live with me for a while, and I came home from work one time, and she had a damn rabbit in a dog crate, and I'm like, where'd you get this rabbit? And she just loved animals, and, you know, she loved her family. And, yeah, they were just both two wonderful people. Drugs destroyed them. It destroyed me, and it turned them into people that were unrecognizable. But I still saw the person behind that mask in a way, you know, and especially in certain ways, it never changed. My niece, one time, we were at this, to say the least, trap house, you know, and, you know, this woman had no clothes, and like I can't remember the full situation, but it was winter and she only had shorts. My niece literally took her pants off and left in her underwear, gave this lady her pants and her sweatshirt, and she left in a tank top and underwear. And something like that, in the midst of addiction, doing things like that for people, you know, just, it was still there, you know, I still saw it, you know, so they were just great people.